Hey guys, it's Mahel here, and today I'm going to be telling you about things I wish I knew before I went to university. I'm Mahel Khan. I'm currently a first year management student at the University of Nottingham, and throughout my year at university I've learned so many things that I wish I knew before starting university. But before we get into the video, make sure to subscribe if you haven't already and turn post notifications on so that you don't miss a single video and you are up to date with everything Mahel Khan. But without further ado, let's get right into it. Now the first one is a big one. Do not buy freshers tickets unless they are released by your students' union or approved by your university. You might be thinking, well duh, why would I buy some random club night? But let me tell you. So if you go onto Facebook, then it is encouraged that you join these different pages and groups for freshers to find other freshers going into university. However, these groups often aren't set up by the university themselves and are set up by some companies. And these companies also happen to be partnered up with an events team that host their own freshers parties, and this can be in the form of, for example, a neon UV rave or a water party, something like that, and they are not approved by university, meaning that they are not official freshers parties. Whilst the events themselves are legit and they do actually happen, so it's not a scam, by all means you are paying money for an event, they are not the official freshers events, and therefore you will not be getting the official freshers experience. In Nottingham, for example, there is a yearly neon UV rave that they call the freshers neon UV rave party. However, this is not released by the University of Nottingham Students' Union, nor is it a Nottingham Trent University event, and therefore it is an unofficial freshers event. Freshers events for the University of Nottingham are only released by the University of Nottingham Students' Union and only available through them, and so don't fall into the trap of buying tickets months in advance, because chances are that they are not official events. Now, whilst I myself was smart enough to pick this out and, well, go to the actual events, there were a lot of people that bought tickets to these unofficial events, and then later on down the line they're like, oh, but I got tickets to this event, but it's not the actual event. Whilst they did say that it was a good event in itself, when someone else asked them down the line how their freshers was, they can't really speak with true experience because they didn't live the true university freshers experience, if you get what I mean. They didn't live the official freshers. They didn't live what most people lived. Besides, if you want to do a UV party, for example, then there'll be many other events later on in the year where you'll have the opportunity to do so, and therefore just stick with the official freshers events. Don't get too eager and just wait for your students' union or university to release tickets to their official events, as at the end of the day, that is what most people will be going to. The next bit of advice is a big one, and I didn't realise it would happen this soon. So I started university around the 23rd of September, and come mid-November, so that is less than 2 months in, everyone, I mean everyone, was already house hunting, forming a group to get a house with, and I was thinking, no way, absolutely no way am I going to be pressured into getting a house that soon with a group of people. The reason I say this is because you might not even be settled into university at this point. I know someone that dropped out of university at around the start of March. So therefore, how could they have picked out accommodation for the next year? I know people who drop out at Christmas, and therefore, how can you pick out accommodation for next year? Realistically, you will be pressured into looking for a house at around November, but do not fall into this pressure. You can get a house at any time of the year. There's no such thing as, oh, but the good houses will be gone by then. Because, like as I said, people drop out of university, people decide they want to do a semester or a year abroad, people decide that they don't like their friendship group because they tried searching for a house too soon, nice houses just pop up later on, and therefore, you really don't have to start searching for a house in November. you can look after Christmas if you want to. And so you shouldn't feel pressured into looking for a house. And I wish I knew this before, because you know what? I'm not even living in a house with a group of people next year. I'm living in self-catered halls again, just a different one. And the reason being is that I like the location of it, and it's literally a 5-minute walk to campus. And I didn't feel confident that I would be able to find a group that I get on with and would be able to live with for an entire year. And so that's why I decided to go with the solo option once again and live with a group of random people. But you know what, that's just me, and I'll make a separate video talking about that and why I decided to do that. My next one relates to homesickness, and every student at one point will experience homesickness, but try not to go home a lot. Because the reason I say this is, if you're constantly going home every weekend that you can, not only are you stopping yourself from settling into the uni experience or just a university lifestyle, the feeling of homesickness will never truly go away. And this is something I wish I knew before university, because I set myself a goal of going home every 3 weeks, whereas my brothers literally went home every single week. However, it got to a point where I realized, you know what, every 3 weeks is way too often. I'm spending a lot of money. Trains are very expensive from Dartford to Nottingham, by the way. Spending a lot of money. I'm not really doing much at university, in the sense that I'm missing out on a lot every weekend that I go. And I'm really just not settling in. And so that's why I decided that I would be going home less often, and I don't go home every 3 weeks anymore. Following on from the first 3 points, I would like to say that this video is proudly sponsored by Unisled, which is an app and an online marketplace for students to buy and sell different items. Unisled first brought to you buy and sell on Facebook, which currently has over 36,000 members, and well, that's a lot. However, posting on Facebook became a bit too cloggy, because you couldn't really sort into different categories. For example, if you wanted a ride share, or if you wanted to advertise for a housemate. And so Unisled decided to create an app back in January, which now has over 7,000 downloads. The app is 100% for students only, as you do need an academic uni email address to sign up. And that is really good, because you'll only be communicating with other students. And let's say, for example, someone decides to try and scam you, their profile is linked to their university email, and they can receive some serious punishment if they are caught scamming. Versus on Facebook, if you're selling to anyone, they can create a fake profile, get away with it, and there's no trace of who they are. The app has 5 sections, beginning with the wall, where you can literally advertise anything. And sometimes Unisled will actually give away free ocean tickets or free crisis tickets over here. Buy and sell, where you can sell literally anything, but mostly used for selling crisis tickets, ocean tickets, other events such as Caramello, Triple Cooked, and so forth. You can even sell textbooks, bicycles, or literally anything you can imagine, from student to another student. Lost and found, I mean, I've lost my driving license on a night out before. I've even lost my old phone. So let's say you decide to lose something, you can post on this section asking if anyone's seen a certain item, or if someone's feeling nice, they can post someone else's lost goods on this section saying, does this belong to anyone, and the rightful owner can go and claim it. Housing, so in this section you can advertise for housemates. You can even drop out from a house, for example, and ask someone to fill in the spare room that you dropped out of. Or in general, just advertise anything to do with housing. And last but not least, a travel section. Now, I mentioned before that trains are very expensive, and often in this section you can find train tickets from Nottingham to London St Pancras, for example, which is a popular journey and one that I take, for less than it would be if you were to search it on National Rail. Or you can even get car shares, which can work out cheaper and more sociable than if you were to take a train. But really good section, because let's say, for example, last minute plan comes up and you can't take a journey that you paid for already. You yourself can sell a ticket, or if you want someone to join your car journey, then you can advertise spaces in your car. The great thing about the Unisled app is that, for example, let's say I wanted an ocean ticket, I would post that I'd want an ocean ticket for a specific date, and every time ocean is being sold, then I would get a notification straight to my phone saying blah 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 is selling an ocean ticket, and therefore I can instantly click that notification and purchase the ticket if I want to. Essentially, it's the same concept as buy and sell, but everything is just more organized, and really I see it as the future of buy and sell. So the app really does have potential, and like I said, it's for students only, which is the great thing, because you don't want to be selling to some local 62-year-old, because why would they have interest in, for example, a Shapes ticket? The app is currently available for the University of Nottingham students, Nottingham Trent University students, and I believe Cardiff University as well. And I believe Unisled currently have plans to roll out the app in other cities as well. But to my belief, it is currently in Nottingham and Cardiff. And that already covers quite a wide base, with Nottingham having over 60,000 students and Cardiff also having quite a lot of students. The message is, let's say for example, you decided to buy one of these unofficial freshers party tickets. You know what? You can use the Unisled app to sell one of those. There'll be a link in the description below where you can download the Unisled app. It is available on iOS and Android. So once again, link will be in the description below to download that. And I recommend that you do download the app and sign up and use it if you do go to Nottingham Universities or Cardiff University. Moving on from that ad, my tip number 5 would be to save up as much money as you can before you go to university. Now, for some of you, your maintenance loan will cover your accommodation and some food. For some, it won't even begin to cover your accommodation fees. So this is why I say save up as much money as you can, because realistically, let's say your maintenance loan covers your accommodation, bang on, like your maintenance loan is exactly what your accommodation costs. You need money aside to pay for things like freshers, nights out in general, leisure. Let's say you want to go to cinema, for example, with your mates, or go bowling, or anything else like going out for food. You will need money aside, because chances are that you will not get a job at university, as most students don't. Some do, but most students don't, and therefore it's just best that you save up as much money as you can before you go to university, because even if you wanted a job, there's no guarantee that you'll be able to get one at university. So it's always good to have a contingency plan and just a rainy day savings fund. Before coming to university, I didn't realise just how expensive it would be, because the amount of money that I spent at university is like ridiculous. And if it weren't from me being smart at some points or doing the odd job here and there, then I would probably be in quite a dire situation. For example, the advert that you saw in this video, things like that, or just adverts placed across this video, help me pay for the different things at university, because there are a lot of hidden costs at university, and I'll make a separate video about that later on. I actually need to tell you guys about the cost of university, because it's more than you think. Tip number 6 is to join a sport or society from day 1. Not in second semester when you're thinking, I might join a sport or society. No, from day 1. So what I recommend is that your university will probably have a freshers fair. Go to that freshers fair, because that is where a lot of sports and societies will have a stall saying who they are, how you can join, and just more information on their relevant sport or society. And just find one that you like and go with it. If you don't like it, go for another one. At the University of Nottingham, for example, there are loads of sports and societies. So if you don't like a society, go for a sport. For me, I went to volleyball for a bit, but then for some reason, related to time really, I kind of gave it up. But it's something that I'm going to try and stick to in second year, as during the time that I did go, it was very sociable, and there was just a massive opportunity to get to know new people. And this is a great way to get to know people outside of your accommodation and your course. Because let's say, for example, you don't get on with your flatmates, and you don't really get the opportunity to get get to know new people on your course. You can get to know new people through a sport or a society. Not only that, if you join a sport, then it is very prestigious if you get to BUCS level, where you're playing competitively rather than casually, because then you can wear one of those sport tops and people will be like, ooh. Tip number 7, always pre-book a cab via an app or over the phone. Do not get a cab from outside the club, for example. Do not get one of those cabs that just sit outside a club and refuse to turn their meter on. The reason I say this is, one, it's actually a violation of their license to not turn their meter on, and if you reported them to the council, then the taxi license would actually get revoked. And two, these taxis rely on taking advantage of drunk students who just want to get home, and so charge them up to triple, yes, I've seen it, up to triple for normal fare. One time, I tried to get an Uber home after a night out, and it said £5. My phone was on 3% charge. It dies right in front of my eyes, and I'm like, oh no. Next thing I see is a cab waiting outside the club, literally right in front of me. Ask him how much to get to my accommodation. He says £15. And I'm like to him, what? And then I decided to just go somewhere else. But my point is, someone else would say yes to this £15, which is just ridiculous, and it's not something you should be doing. Number 8 is to bring a lot of fancy dress, and if you don't have any, buy some. For example, in Nottingham at Ocean on a Wednesday, if you go to a Trent night, every Wednesday is fancy dress. Everyone dresses up. I mean, everyone. Trust me, if you go through the Nottingham city centre from 6 PM, then you'll see loads of people wearing crazy stuff, and that's all down to Ocean Wednesdays. But even at Crisis, for example, there'll be theme nights. So you've had like Game of Thrones night, you've had like Disney night, and other different theme nights. So to have fancy dress is really essential. So make sure to stock up on it before you get to university, or at least be prepared to have some money to buy some once you're there. Tip number 9 is to make friends everywhere and not to stick with just one circle of friends. The reason I say this is because usually what people will do is they'll make a circle of friends. They'll be like, oh, I want to live with you. And then later on, find out that they don't actually like them at all. And drop out of the house and then realize, oh, I don't have any other friends. Do not do this. I don't have a circle of friends. I prefer to actually know people here and there. So for example, I know people from accommodation. I know people from my course. I know people from Nottingham Trent University and so forth. But we are not a circle of friends. And I actually prefer it like this because I've got close mates. We're just not a circle of close mates. And it just avoids a lot of conflict. And it's just so much more stress-free than if you would have one circle where a lot of crap talking can happen. Last but not least is do not pack literally everything you can and take that to university. Because at the end of the day, your room is probably going to be quite small, so you wouldn't even be able to fit everything anyways. And secondly, you can buy stuff if you need it at university. I only packed literally essentials, and if I needed anything for my room, any decoration, for example, a fake tree, I bought it in the Nottingham city centre and then literally just took it back to mine. So there's no point of going like 200 miles on a motorway with a stuffed car and literally just unloading it into your room, then to realise, hang on, I could have bought this in Nottingham or wherever you go to university. And really, you're probably going to be only sleeping in your room. Realistically, you'll spend more time outside your room, being out and about, or just even in your common room or somewhere. So your room doesn't really need to have literally every single thing. For example, this. Like, I don't need something that holds salt, and I don't need to take it with me on a car journey. And if I did need to, then I could buy it whilst I'm up there. So do not pack literally anything you see inside. That is going to be it for the video, guys and girls. I hope it's been helpful to you, and I hope that you know a few more things now before going to university, and so that you are more prepared for first year. And if it did help you, then make sure to leave a like, comment below and subscribe. Let me know in the comments below what videos you would like to see from me. I know, I need to do an A-level business video, and don't worry, I promise you it is coming. The amount of requests I get saying, please do a video on A-level business. Trust me, I know, and it is coming. But make sure to also follow me on social media. That's at Mahel X on Twitter, at Mahel Khan on Instagram, and official Mahel Khan on Facebook. And if you haven't already, then make sure to click subscribe and turn post notifications on, as it does really help me, but also ensures that you do not miss a single video. But that is going to be it for this video. This has been Mahel, and I hope to see you in the next one. Peace.